Today, I'm chatting with Yang Berhormat Yeo Bee Yin, Member of Parliament and Malaysia's youngest female minister in the multi-departments of energy, science, technology, environment, and climate change. A chemical engineer by profession, she studied in Cambridge and is today a household name in our country, respected by many for her committed passion in nation building. I am your host, Polin. Welcome to TAW Real Chats, where life's insights are shared. Bee Yin, thank you for joining me today. At the time of the Sheraton Move, you were 36 weeks pregnant. Could you share with us where were you on that day and what were you doing while others were busy with the Sheraton Move?
Yeah, I was I remember very well, it was a Sunday. It was weekend, and then I was supposed to go on my maternity leave because of the doctor was telling me that probably I may have early delivery. So, but then I thought that I wanted to do a site visit to something I need to follow up in Pasir Gudang. Pasir Gudang had a case of the toxic gas pollution cases a year ago before the Sheraton Move, and then we have many follow-up things. One of the things is the real-time sensors network to detect toxic gases in a very timely manner, so we can react soon. So what I did that day was that I was doing a site visit to see the launch of it. That means we finish up the whole thing in a year, and then we launch it. We look at the thing, and that was the day that in KL something is happening, and that I remember that day very well because that day when I was doing my press conference, when I was checking and telling the press, how good the thing is going to solve the problem, blah blah blah. And then suddenly, my assistant told me something happened in KL. Something happened in KL. I was like, okay, don't worry. Asmin Ali, I know him. Although he's not like a good the kind of a person that I agree with him. I don't really agree with him most of the time, but he won't go that far. That's why I say, don't worry about that. We focus on our job, and then after we finish our job, on the way back, that is when we actually realized that something really.
He did crossover, yeah.
He did crossover, and he did bring along a few others to do the same. One of them also include Saifuddin Abdullah, who was sitting just beside me in every cabinet meeting, because in the cabinet meeting, the seat arrangement is actually fixed. So every cabinet meeting, you actually sit, your neighbors are the same. So Saifuddin Abdullah was the one that sit just next to me. And whenever he was around and I was around and we were in cabinet meeting, he will call me, sis, how are you? Good morning, all this. And these kind of people who call you sis, who, is so friendly to you, eventually, then you realize that they betray you at your back,
Yep.
And so that was the experience of the day on the Sheraton.
My question to you is this. So you've seen these mind-boggling things in politics, right? Betrayal of colleagues that you trusted, personally trusted. You've seen alleged abuse of government machinery and things like that. Do you ever feel disillusioned?
Yeah, of course. I think it is only natural that people feel very disillusioned. I remember after Sheraton Move, it was a few days of feeling that it's surreal. That wow, the government is gone. You feel surreal. Just like the day when we thought that we won the government, also surreal. The government falls, and for the first few months, we were still hoping that things can be reversed. We were still hoping that this is just a temporary glitch. But after a few months, you realize that nothing's going to happen, and we really lost the government. And so the sadness actually sinks later on. Because in the first few weeks, right, you were still hoping that things will go back. And then only after we have accepted that, that it's not going to be possible, that is when you feel very sad about the country is going backward. I feel very sad for the country that things like this could happen. Not so much for me losing a
A
minister,
seat, yeah, a ministership,
yeah,
but
minister,
for the country.
but mainly is for the country, and mainly because how leaders will change just because they are offered deputy minister or minister's post. You know, a lot of MPs' friends switch side just because they want to have a taste of being a deputy minister. What is so big deal of being a minister? You know, when you actually betray your own principle, things that I cannot understand. I feel that there is no righteousness, there is no right and sense of right and wrong among the leaders anymore. And how these leaders are going to tell people that we are going to lead you into something, you know. I always believe that leaders must have a moral compass whereby people can follow. And now the right and wrong is so blurred,
Mixed up.
very, very, very mixed up. So you feel very sad for the country now. And the thing is that whole year I feel very sad looking at my colleagues. If you look at the development, the first it was that Tan Sri Mohidin was sworn in. He actually did not have enough numbers. So it was one by one being they crossed, right? They crossed one by one. That even eventually 17 months, he still did not get really like really convincing numbers lah. But in those 1 year, sometimes this colleague jump, you know, another colleague jump for different reasons. You feel very sad lah. You really feel very sad. Many of them, you know, you were colleagues, but none of them were close to me. That means there is no close
personal emotions. Yeah.
no, they are colleagues. Those who are close to me, fortunately, all did not jump. So
You'll be heartbroken, I think.
if not, even more heartbroken, you know.
Yeah.
So and then seeing how things develop based on how Tan Sri Muhyiddin want to cling to power and declare emergency, you know, all this kind of thing is so unheard of. And then you see series of elections, state election, whereby, you know, a convicted former prime minister who is so corrupt being called boss school and being so popular. You know, the nation has lost its moral compass. It has lost its direction of, you know, I feel very, very sad. So if you ask me what is my feeling about the whole thing, is that the whole 30 months, that the past 30 months has been difficult. But it also has been a time when I know that is politics, you know, and politics can be a lot of impossible can happen. the good things can happen, the impossible things can happen, the impossibly bad things can also happen. So that is why nowadays I look at politics from a very lens that I know that everyone in politics right now, not everyone are good people. We cannot expect them to be good, you know. Sometimes they change, and suddenly they change, and that we must be vigilant. I would tell you that before Sheraton Move, I was more naive and idealistic. For now, after I've seen through all this and going through myself, whether it is intra-party or internal party politics as well, makes me realize that, you know, having ideal is not enough. We must also be wise in our politics.
I think it's very interesting and very apt, I think, to mention about the wonderful work you did in Sarawak. You wrote about the story where you the long road you took with Mordi Bimo, a local candidate that your party had in the Sarawak Dayak area, where you brought infrastructure into the kampongs, right? Water, electricity, roads, health, and education camps, all funded purely by public donations.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is this. You've done so much there, but Mordi lost elections for 7 years.
Yeah.
How did you drive home that message to people? It's so visible, right? All this infrastructure improvement, you're bringing access, like you say, I empathize with what's happening here. I'm doing all the hard work. People not seeing, or the system is being gamed in one way or another. How do you deal with things like that?
Um, First, you after the first Sarawak election that we lost, then I realized that politics is not only about bringing good to the people. You need to have tactics to win election. And that, of course, after 7 years, Modi actually won. So it's a long road to victory.
Very long road.
And he's definitely facing an uphill battle to keep the seat now. And because rural seat is not easy to keep for party without resources like DAP, you know, and we really do not take government money to our party. Everything is by donation, a private donation without any string attached. That means that even private donation doesn't come in big sum because there is no string attached. Not say tell you that now after we win government, we will give you this project, that project. If that is the case, then you will see millions and tens of millions that come in. If that's not the case, people that earn hard-earned money will not be able to give you as much as they give to the rivalry parties. So we are still struggling. It's not the end of the destination. It's not the end of the our struggle yet. We're still struggling. But so I always believe that we just have to do what is right and see what the future hold.
Right. So you keep going.
Yeah.
But what keeps you going? Like if you're so sad and disillusioned, how do you find, I don't know, the fuel to keep going in this new election, and with the belief that you said good things can still happen, bad things can also happen.
Yeah.
Why are
Um,
you still here?
so I actually struggled. I now have 2 kids and 2 very young kids, and I'm also pregnant 7 months. This is not easy. It's really
I'm
not easy
sure.
when you have young kids. So I hope that this round, when I contest in Selangor, will be nearer to home. That I will be able to be more balanced in family and handling all my kids and also in my political pursuit lah. Of course, if you ask me whether I have thought of not contesting or not being active in frontline politics, I would admit that I did for a very very long time. I considered whether or not I would want to either take a break or retire from politics. Um, but after a long thought, I think that maybe my time is in frontline politics is not up yet. Sometimes, if you, I remember one pastor say in a sermon very well. It says that if you follow your emotion is not your passion. You feel sad on everything. Your passion is when it's when it is fixed on purpose. You cannot pursue your emotion because sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but you must pursue a purpose. That is real passion. That is pursuit of passion. Otherwise, it's a pursuit of emotion. So, what is my purpose, right? So I have always been and still want to do the best I can to contribute to build this nation. Whether or not things are good or bad, that is out of my control. But at least the things that is in my control is that whether I try my best. So I thought that even after all this, since I can still contribute, I think I will continue to contribute at least for one more term. That's why I signed myself up for another term.
Well, do you have any last words for I think it won't just be women listening to this particular podcast for this one, but do you have any last words, I think, for people who are listening in, especially the Malaysians?
Yeah, I think we should continue to hope for a better Malaysia. We should not let what is happening now to limit our imagination for this country. This is still a great nation. This great nation has great potential, and that what it requires is a lot of people to believe in this, a lot of people to believe and continue to participate in our democratic process. And that because change is a long process, we must have the stamina to finish the race. This is a race that is not finished. Let's not turn back and say the good old days are better. The good old days are the days where absolute power that corrupt our country. Absolutely. Let's just move forward and although it's unknown, but let's believe that in this future that we move forward to, we'll be able to chart a better path for this nation. I always believe that if we get good enough people, enough good people to be a part of this journey, we'll be able to chart a better path for this country.
Beautiful said, beautiful said. I remember there was a quote I think you said of Churchill in your book.
Yeah.
Do you remember that quote?
What is that? It is not the failure is not
fatal.
And success is not
final, right? Success
right.
is not final, and failure is not
continue.
It's the courage to continue.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good note to end there. Bee Yin, thank you so much for making the time in your very busy schedule to chat with us today. We appreciate it. Ladies and well, I suppose boys as well, if you're listening to this, get out and vote. Whichever party you're supporting, make your voice heard. And we wish you all the best, Bee Yin, in these coming elections.
Thank you.
Everyone, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you at our next Real Chats episode. Bye for now.